Welcome to English with Jay-Z. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to solve the maths heading questions in IELTS reading. We will do a short mock test in this video, and the strategy that we're going to use is, first we will read the whole paragraph carefully. We won't just read the first and the last sentence of the paragraph. This will help us to identify the main points in the paragraph, which in turn will help us to identify the main idea of the paragraph. Then based on that idea, we will be able to choose a heading. I have chosen this passage from Cambridge 14 academic book test 2. So let's get started. If you want to read the whole paragraph, please pause the video. And now I'm going to mark some keywords and identify the main idea of this paragraph. This paragraph talks about organization being a big business, being a multi-billion-dollar industry. This talks about self-organization and how we are taught, what we are taught to do, right, to become more productive. Seminars and workshops taking place around the world to tell a paying public that they ought to structure their lives in order to achieve this. So people are being told to structure and order their lives, and business leaders and entrepreneurs are thinking the same. There are business schools that are teaching people how to organize well. So this means that people are being taught by almost everyone how to organize their life. This is the main idea of this paragraph. Let's see which heading matches this paragraph the best. First one is about complaints. No. The second one is about fundamental beliefs. No. Early recommendations. No. Some organizations put a new approach into practice. We did not read about any organizations. We did read about organization as an idea, but not about many companies. This one is also about companies that have suffered. No. What people are increasingly expected to do. Yes, we did read that, but let's see if we have an even better heading than this one. How to achieve outcomes that are currently impossible. No. Neither approach guarantees continuous improvement. We did not read about any types of approaches, right? Evidence. No, we did not read about any evidence either. So the answer to this heading is heading number 6 to this paragraph. What people are increasingly expected to do. And this is here the answer lies. People are told that they need to organize their lives, and there are seminars and workshops that tell people to organize their lives. As you can see, reading the first sentence and the last sentence did not help. Right? We had to read the whole paragraph in this case. Let's try another one. This is the second paragraph of the same passage. Pause the video and read the paragraph. So this paragraph talks about businesses failing, work-related stress, and workers claiming to be dissatisfied with the way their work is structured and they are managed. So this is dissatisfactions, somehow complain and everything. The first heading is about complaint. Yes, this seems to be the right heading, but let's see if we can find even a better one. Fundamental beliefs. No. Early recommendations. No. Organizations putting a new approach into practice. No. Companies that have suffered. No. How to achieve outcomes. No. Neither approach, and evidence. No. So the answer to this heading, the heading of this paragraph, is number 1, complaints about the impact of certain approach. This is the third paragraph. If you want to read the whole paragraph, please pause the video. This paragraph talks about Frederick Taylor, one of the forefathers of scientific management. Okay, he wrote something in 20th century, and he designed a number of principles to improve the efficiency of the work process. So it was related to business work process, which have since become widespread in the modern companies. So the approach has been around for a while. Okay, so this one is about a forefather of scientific management talking about work. The second heading says fundamental beliefs that are in fact incorrect. No, we did not read anything that is incorrect. Early recommendations concerning business activities. Yes, this can be the answer. because forefathers, he was one of the earlier people talking about scientific management, so that says earlier recommendations. And business activities, here he says work process, he talks about work process, so that is business recommendations, and this is the heading of this paragraph. If you want to read this paragraph, please pause the video. This paragraph talks about research, and the obsession with efficiency is misguided. Okay, the problem is not necessarily the management theories or strategies we use to organize our work. It is the basic assumptions we hold in approaching how we work. So that means that the problem is with the basic assumptions. Okay, here it is the assumption that order is a necessary condition for productivity. This assumption has also fostered the idea that disorder must be detrimental. People spend time and money organizing themselves sake of organizing, rather than actually looking at the end goal and usefulness of such an effort. So this paragraph is about the basic assumptions we hold in approaching how we work, and they are misguided, right? The second heading says fundamental beliefs that are in fact incorrect. Basic assumptions, the synonym is fundamental beliefs. Misguided, incorrect. So this is the correct heading of this paragraph. Let's try a new one. This paragraph talks about recent studies show that order actually has diminishing returns. Okay, order does increase productivity to a certain extent, but eventually the usefulness of the process of organization and the benefit it yields reduce until the point where any further increase in order reduces productivity. Okay, some argue that in a business, if the cost of formally structuring something outweighs the benefit of doing it, then that thing ought not be formally structured. Instead, the resources involved can be better used elsewhere. So this means that order has diminishing returns. That means it has downsides. It reduces productivity after it is reached a certain extent. Okay, and something outweighs the benefit of doing it, then that ought not be formally structured. So that means that the benefits are being outweighed by something else. The advantages are being outweighed by something else, and that is the diminishing returns, the downsides. So the fourth heading says organizations putting a new approach into practice. No. Companies that have suffered. No. How to achieve outcomes that are currently impossible. No, we did not read about anything being impossible either. Neither approach guarantees continuous improvement. We did read about improvement and benefits, but not about continuous improvement or any approach. Evidence that a certain approach can have more disadvantages than advantages. Yes, this one is right, because the passage said that order has diminishing returns after it is reached an extent. So the answer is heading number 9. Let's try another paragraph. This paragraph also talks about research. When innovating, the best approach is to create an environment devoid of structure and hierarchy and enable everyone involved to engage as one organic group. Okay, so it shows, this paragraph says that research shows that you need to do this, and this is the best approach. Okay, these environments can lead to new solutions that, under conventionally structured environments filled with bottlenecks in terms of information flow, power structures, rules and routines, would never be reached. So this paragraph talks about an environment that can lead to solutions, right, which under conventionally structured, that means the environment that is existing at the moment, under that environment which won't be reached, would never be reached. Okay, so this means that something new can happen if we change the system, right? And it shows a way of doing that. An approach to create that environment is to enable everyone involved to engage as one organic group. So the fourth one says organizations that put a new approach into practice, no. Companies that have suffered from changing their approach, no. How to achieve outcomes that are currently impossible, yes, we did read that. How currently impossible outcomes can be achieved, how to create that environment. Okay, let's read the last one. Neither approach guarantees continuous improvement. No, we did not read about any improvement. So the answer to this, the heading of this paragraph is heading number 7, because this said that the environment can lead to a new solution, which won't be possible under the conventionally structured system, right? Okay, this is a lengthy paragraph, and this says that in recent times, companies have slowly started to embrace disorganization. Okay, something different, is it? They embrace it as opposed to fearing it, and also in terms of process, putting mechanisms in place to reduce structure. Okay. This paragraph also gives an example of Oticon, a large Danish manufacturer, and it used a different approach called spaghetti structure. It scrapped formal job titles and giving staff huge amounts of ownership is what it did. It also talks about the former chairman of General Electric, and it also talks about Google and a number of other companies have embraced these kinds of flexible structures. Okay, so organizations that put a new approach into practice, right? This is a new approach because this is essentially about disorganization as opposed to organization in the previous paragraphs. The heading of this passage is number 4, organizations that put a new approach into practice. Let's read the final paragraph of this passage. A word of warning to others thinking of jumping on this bandwagon. The bandwagon of Google and General Electric and Oticon and other companies changing their approach. Okay. The evidence so far suggests disorder, much like order, also seems to have diminishing utility. Okay, so this means that both the order and disorder can have diminishing effects and can also have detrimental effects of performance if overused. Okay. Like order, disorder should be embraced only so far as it is useful. So this means that both the order and disorder are somehow equal in causing disadvantages. But we should not fear it, nor venerate one over the other. Okay, we should not venerate one over the other. We should not prefer one over the other. Okay, this research also shows that we should continually question whether or not our existing assumptions work. So this paragraph, the main idea of this paragraph is the comparison of order and disorder and how both of them can be disadvantages. So number 5, the companies that have suffered, no, we did read about suffering from both order and disorder, but we did not read about companies. So this one must meet. Neither approach guarantees continuous improvement. Yes, this is right. This is the right heading for this paragraph because neither of them guarantees continuous improvement and the other one was wrong. So this was the end of the video, and please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel.